You ever heard the saying that goes, some people died at 25 but didn't get buried until 80? And I didn't, like, I understand what they were saying, but I didn't truly get it until recently. I started working with older people and I started realizing what that meaning says, you know? And it has to do with like people, you know, trying to play life in safe mode. So they play life in safe mode because they got comfortable and they chose to stay in that comfort because it feels good instead of taking challenges to improve themselves. And now that they're older, you know, now that they're in their 80s and stuff like that, they realize, oh, look, you know, I played life in safe mode, but did I really live, you know? And now that they're in their 80s and they realize that they don't really have a lot of time left, there's this feeling of like regret like you get from them. And they're just mad at the world because they chose to play life in that type of safe mode, you know? The beauty of getting older is that you become more wiser and you become more experienced. So if you look at life in that type of lens, you wouldn't mind getting older. But if you are a person that stopped developing yourself and once you reach a certain potential, you say, you know what, I don't want to level up no more, then getting older is going to be a depressing thing because the only thing you can look at is to your past, you know? And even though the past is good because of mistakes and stuff you made, life is always moving forward. Let's take a good example of this, right? A lot of people probably wouldn't want to become a pilot because they're like, nah, that's crazy. Like, you know, you flying airplanes and whatnot, and, you know, the airplane might crash and then you're going to die. But then they become like, I don't know, a regular job. And then they crossing down the street and they get killed by a car. So, you know, like you was trying to avoid something and it still ended up happening. And like, you got to look at that stuff, you know what I mean? Like, you could die at any moment. And if that's going to hold you back from things, then you're going to be that person who's like in their 80s who regretted it. There's a lot of people that you can play, that'll take life and play it in safe mode. And God forbid, you know, something happens, like you in your 40s or in your 50s and you pass away and you didn't reach your full potential because you was trying to make it to live a longer life. And that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you got to conquer your fears, because if you don't conquer them, you don't want to be that person who's in there, who's 80, and yeah, you got to be 80, but now you look at life and you're like, damn, like, I'm still not getting out of this thing safe. So it sucks because they didn't reach their potential of who they could have became in this life. And now that I'm older, like, I look at that stuff like, you know, like being a pilot, like that shit would have been an amazing job. Would I do it right now? I wouldn't, because I realize you got to do something smaller than that to then realize if you want to do that. So for example, right, like I went to college and, you know, I got my degrees and I didn't know if I wanted to do this type of job that I studied for until I started doing the internships. Once I started doing the internships, I realized, damn, this is not something that I would like to do. And that's why I feel like you need to find something that's a smaller position in what you want to do and see if you can build on it. So for example, if you wanted to become a nurse, I think like becoming an assistant nurse is a good opportunity, because you could become an assistant nurse. You can see what the job is and it's almost the same. Not exactly, but you get what I'm saying. And then you get a good feel for it. And then from there, you can decide if you want to make that investment and pursue that as a career, instead of just like, you know what, because sometimes you think you like something and then you do it and you don't like it. And sometimes you don't like something, you think you don't like something, and then you do it and you're like, damn, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. So sometimes you got to look at life in that type of lens. Another great example is like, after I decided I didn't want to do that, I started working in a warehouse. I was working in a warehouse, and then they wanted me to drive, and I didn't want to drive. So then I started driving, and I ended up liking it. After that, I was like, you know what? I want to apply for Amazon. So I became an Amazon driver, and I did that for 2 or 3 years. On my 3rd year, they wanted me to become to drive the box trucks. And I was upset. Like, I was like, nah, I don't want to do it and stuff like that. And I ended up doing it. And then while I'm doing it, I'm like, yo, it's not that bad. I should get my CDL, because why would I continue driving this when I could just get my CDL and I could make more money? So that's what I ended up doing, and I ended up getting my CDL, and then look, now I'm making more money. So you always got to choose, like, whatever you want to do. Like, maybe you want to be a software engineer, or you want to do a certain type of job. Take the lowest position of that job or that career and see how it feels. And if you see that you like it, then you can make that investment. But at least you got a feel for it. And you got to see that real life outcome.